Nothing ever happens in West Memphis, Arkansas.
We've had 3 children missing since last night.
3 young boys murdered in cold blood.
It appeared that they had been sexually mutilated.
Is it your opinion that these crimes were motivated by occult beliefs?
Yes.
Arrested at 2:44 p.m., charged with 3 counts of capital murder.
Life imprisonment without parole. Death by lethal injection.
A case with a confession would be easier as opposed to one without direct evidence.
A statement was put in his mouth by the police.
They beat up all 3 of them.
Then they tied him.
And they tied him up.
Here's the state of Arkansas refusing to let the truth shine on this case.
When I got contacted by Peter Jackson and Fran Walsh, it had been over 10 years since the last documentary came out, and the book about 8 years, I think. I was coming in at a different place in history, basically, and there was new information, there was DNA evidence, there was expert testimony. So I think that the way those products fit into my process were that they actually got everyone involved in the case. They were definitely a call to action, and the people that hired me had seen the original films and were assumed that they would be out of prison by now. So then here we are 15 years later and nothing had happened. So our film, the impetus for the film was to do an investigation and to try to right this wrong, basically.
I was excited just because Lori and I were going to be producers on it, so it was going to be the very first time that we actually got to take part in telling our own story. You know, things in the past, the other films, other books, other TV shows, other newspaper articles, whatever it was always someone else's work, someone else's project. And this time it was going to be ours, which made us much more comfortable with letting her deeper into our personal lives than we ever had with anyone else. This is what I had hope in. This is what I had faith in. This is, you know, I'd seen how corrupt the system was to the core, so I had no faith that they were going to do the right thing. What I had faith in was Peter and Fran and Amy being able to get this message out to the rest of the world so that people would see what was going on. I had seen the Lord of the Rings movies in the prison. We had a charity organization that came in like around Christmas and Thanksgiving, and they played the movies to the whole prison at once just to sort of lower the tension in the air. So I knew who he was. It's a weird thing though, just because, you know, Lori would tell me about it or whatever it was that was going on, but whenever you hang up the phone, you're going right back to just trying to survive another day in prison. So, you know it's going on somewhere in your mind, but in a way it may as well be on another world or a million miles away. But, you know, and it hasn't stopped since we've been out. You know, these people have become like family to us, you know, dear friends, and I honestly don't know what we would have done without them. You know, Peter and Fran, Eddie Vedder, Margaret Cho, Henry Rollins, Johnny Depp. You know, Eddie used to come to the prison and sit with me there while I was on death row. Johnny Depp has become like a brother to us over the years. Peter and Fran, we have no idea what we would have done once I got out of prison if not for them being like a safety net, catching us and helping us get started in the world. They saved my life. Yeah.
Terry Hobbs, when we were just getting ready to go to Sundance, we had found out about a few new witnesses that had called the tip line, and we included them in the film, as you see.
Right.
And since then, the prosecutor has interviewed those witnesses, and he is investigating right now. What that means is hard to know. I mean, we see what's happened historically there with their investigations and the way the system works down there, but we're hoping that something will happen. The film is basically like the trial that these guys never had, so we hope that when the film rolls out that it will just continue to create noise, and hopefully the point is that there's justice at this point. You know, there was a really bad deal that was struck, but at least 3 people are no longer in prison. So the goal is justice.
It's kind of one of the things that, the reason we're doing this and the reason we'll have to keep doing this is we want to be exonerated. We want the person who belongs in prison to be in prison, and we want the people who did this to us to be held responsible for what they've done. This is our way of making sure the state of Arkansas knows we're not going anywhere until you do the right thing. So whatever it takes in the future, that's what we're going to keep marching towards until we do finally have a sense of closure.
Let's just say we'd like a new ending to this film.
Yes.
Did Damien invite you to some meeting?
Satanic meeting. I was just a big liar, and I really was.
You're dealing with a horrendous crime. It warps their judgment.
There's careers at stake.
The option to reopen the case was presented to him, and he went, no, we found them guilty, we're done.
We don't believe the people of Arkansas are going to be satisfied until there is a new trial.
Not only is the state getting away with it, but the person who killed those 3 kids is still out there walking on the street.